It doesn't matter which team you support, but you've got to admire the way New Zealand play cricket. Just simple people doing simple things and achieving great results. There's a lot to be said for the power of humility and simplicity. And I wanted India to win, and there's no shame in saying that. Now that I'm not in the commentary box, I can say that even more clearly. But I just love the way New Zealand have just risen even more in my eyes for the manner in which they played. And for India, as you know, it's always New Zealand. Forget the knockouts. They came to India a year and a few months ago and they won the Test series 3-0. And you said, really? How can that happen? That closed a winning streak that had lasted, what, 69 years or so. They never won an ODI series in India. 7 attempts before this. 37 years they've been coming here. And now a team that was almost defined by who wasn't in it. There are a couple of bowlers there. I checked with Simon Dool and Ian Smith, and they said maybe they were numbers 8, 9, 10 thereabouts in the pecking order of New Zealand fast bowlers. And for a very small playing population, to be able to put together a team like that to come and win India is just astonishing. So, first of all, hats off to New Zealand. Now, what about India then? I think India look back at this series and be genuinely disappointed with some of the bowling that they saw. I thought the power play bowling was pretty good, but the moment the spinners came on, it just seemed that the pressure was going off. And you saw in Indore that the captain didn't have the confidence to go to his spinners till much later. I know part of the objective was to go to Nitish Reddy, but he just got the impression that he didn't have the confidence to go to his spinners. Kuldeep Yadav had a series to forget. It's not always that happens. He's been one of our best bowlers for a very long time, but he had a series to forget. And the moment Kuldeep Yadav stops giving you wickets in the middle overs, they just look a little bit more insipid. And I think Ravindra Jadeja's sometimes just gives the feeling, maybe especially with his bowling, that maybe he's just past the peak a little bit. And I think in the games ahead, India won't make major decisions till September, October, I think, which will be a year before the World Cup. I think Jadeja will have to deliver some commanding performances to to underline the fact that he still belongs as a bowler at this level. And I think he'll look back at his batting as well and say, could I have done a little bit more? The batting itself, Rohit Sharma will look back at his dismissals with a little bit of disappointment, trying to go over the top each time in each of the 3 innings. Shreyas Iyer will look at those dismissals and say, could I have done a little bit more? Because at number 4, he occupies such an important position. And maybe he'll just look back, because he's an intelligent cricketer. He'll just look back and say, right, what have we learned from Virat Kohli? What have we learned from MS Dhoni? That there's always a lot more time than you think. KL Rahul is good. I think he should just be told you're number 5 from now on. Just give him a little bit more stability. I thought his keeping wasn't bad at all. So KL Rahul was one of the pluses. His century in Rajkot was fantastic. So the biggest plus, and may never stop playing one-day cricket, was Virat Kohli. I mean, he said to me that if he was batting first, he might have gone even harder at the bowling. This is a Virat Kohli that's coming in and saying straight away, much like he did in his pomp, this is me. You got to get me out. I'm going to come hard at you. And then when he started to see wickets go around him, he just changed the pace of the game completely. When he had to go up, he went up again. Every ball coming off the middle of the bat, the energy is infectious. The enthusiasm has always been there. Virat Kohli, I mean, I look at Virat Kohli and I say he could play for another 10 years if he keeps his fitness. He was just fantastic. To see Virat Kohli was a privilege once again. And as I said, I just hope he never stops playing cricket. He was that close to pulling off this game if a couple of the other batters had stayed with him. But he is in fantastic form and may it always be that way. The other plus for me was Nitish Kumar Reddy. He's always plus in the field. He's brilliant in the field. But I thought in this game, on a very difficult track to bowl on, flat wreck, he bowled his first 4 overs beautifully. I thought there was a game plan there. Even when the batters were attacking, he seemed to be able to hold them back a little bit. So Nitish Reddy, the bowler, just rose a little bit. And as a batter, I think he's always going to be a batter who bowls. He'll be disappointed with the fact that he had a big innings in store, but that's the way he plays. When it comes off, it looks good. I thought that partnership with Virat Kohli was good, and I think he's done enough there to suggest that with more experience, there's a good player in there. And who knows, when India go to South Africa, you might want to play both Hardik and Nitish. So he gave you a few indicators there. There were times in this game when you thought the captain was letting the game drift. I saw Shubman Gill as a very young captain in England, and He looked in control. I thought he led the side beautifully in the test matches in England. Part of it, of course, had to do with the fact that he was batting so well. But a lot has happened in his life. And in recent times, the disappointment of not being in the side for the T20 World Cup, the injuries, the illnesses that have come his way. And I thought more than once he just let the game drift. In fact, there was one moment when he was off the field. I think Shreyas Iyer was a designated vice captain, but there was Rohit Sharma who was making the changes. KL Rahul was setting the field, and Shreyas Iyer was just going towards his fielding position. So I thought there were times in this series when India looked a little directionless. But there are cracks, and at some point, India have got to look and say, when do we address these cracks? I think they'll do that around September, October, which leaves them a year to prepare for that World Cup. And there's a few big decisions to be taken. But these are all very good players. I talked about Rohit Sharma, I talked about Shreyas Iyer, I talked about Ravindra Jadeja. These are players who've done really well over the years. So I think India will look to give them chances till about September, October, and then decide where you go in the last 12 months.
So thank you for watching and do subscribe to this channel.